I recognize a member for Miramichi East.
Well, Madam Speaker, we got a pretty shocking announcement from this government a couple weeks ago when the Minister of DTI came all the way to Miramichi to inform us that they've decided to remove the sidewalk out of the plans for the Centennial Bridge project to cut costs. This sidewalk is critical for people who have to walk back and forth to work and shop for essentials. They said they did a study to show that less than 14 people use the bridge. Well, the study would have been done weeks ago when the bridge was still full of snow and sand. With the nicer weather here and with a new multiplex coming, there's going to be even more people that need to walk the bridge. Their answer to not having a sidewalk? That there will be room on the outside of the white lanes. Unreal. Madam Speaker, the speed on the bridge is 80 kilometers an hour. Suggesting this is absurd, but I can guarantee that people will try to walk outside the white line, and it could be tragic. Not having a sidewalk on the Centennial Bridge is not an option. Will the Minister, for the safety of everyone, today please commit to putting the sidewalk back into the plans for our Centennial Bridge? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the question. This whole project of the Centennial Bridge has gone on for quite some time now, Madam Speaker. What started out as a 10-year project has now become a 12-year project because the previous government dragged their feet and actually stopped construction on it for a couple of years for political reasons. Now, Madam Speaker, it has gone from a $95 million project to a $195 million project. So what's going to happen, Madam Speaker, is we've tendered the work for this summer, so there will be no change to pedestrian access to the bridge this coming summer, because we will be working under the bridge, and so there will be no change there. Pedestrians and bicyclists will still be able to access the sidewalk this summer. However, Madam Speaker, next summer and the summer after, the bridge will be closed to traffic as well as to pedestrians, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we've worked with the city to look at alternate means of transportation to get these people from one side to the other.
Recognize a member for Miramichi East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I didn't hear anywhere in there that he was going to put it back in. Blaming the previous government when they said that they would put it in is not an option. It seems to be an actual theme of this government. The changes need to be done again. We've put it back in. We've talked to the previous minister when it was put back in. It needs to go back in for the safety of disabled people, for the safety of everybody that walks the bridge that has to get back and forth. Having no sidewalk on that bridge is not an option. Will the minister please talk to his department and put this sidewalk back into the bridge? Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes or no?
Je reconnais le ministre des Transports et de l'Infrastructure.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and the member opposite is correct. The previous minister, well, 2-3 ministers ago, announced that there would be a sidewalk on the bridge. However, Madam Speaker, it was never ever added to the scope of the project, and it was never costed out properly. So, Madam Speaker, it was what one would say an empty promise, which is very typical of the previous government. So, Madam Speaker, if we look at the option of a sidewalk, the actual construction of a sidewalk cannot happen on the bridge structure as it is now, Madam Speaker. We need all of that room for lanes of traffic to meet the norms of today's norms for road surfaces. So, Madam Speaker, it has to be something that would be added onto the exterior of the bridge, and that would be obviously a very costly project, Madam Speaker. The priority right now, Madam Speaker, is to get the rehabilitation of the bridge going and finished so that we can get 6,000 cars to and from every day, Madam Speaker.
The member for Miramichi East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And with the government that's spending billions of dollars and putting us more in debt, what's $50 million for the safety of everybody that's going to cross that bridge? There's now 2 sidewalks on the bridge, one on either side of the highway. And so there's got to be enough room to put one sidewalk on either side of that bridge to put people over there, you would think. Can the minister please commit to putting a sidewalk on that bridge? Yes or no?
Le ministre des Transports et de l'Infrastructure.
I find it very ironic, Madam Speaker, that all of a sudden the member opposite's an engineer and realizes and understands how much room is needed for a lane of traffic, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, as I said before, there are standards, and they're Canadian standards, as to the width of a lane for traffic on a bridge. When we are rehabilitating a bridge, we have to meet those standards, Madam Speaker. In order to meet those standards, we need the full width of the bridge. So as I said, Madam Speaker, the full width being needed, a sidewalk has to be an addition, and it has to be on the outside of the bridge. And that, Madam Speaker, is a very complex undertaking because of the arc of the bridge is so high, Madam Speaker. There's a lot of design work that has to be done. And as I said, Madam Speaker, that was never costed out, and it was never done by the previous government. It was an empty promise. Now, Madam Speaker, we will work to get people from one side to the other with this